Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Michael's Corner. Now, it's been a while since I've done my virtual interviews, so I figured I'd do one here tonight. So, I am super excited because tonight I will be interviewing Rock Solid Ross. Um, I gotta tell you, I cannot wait to hear his story on how he got started in wrestling. And for those you guys don't know him, he he's one of the nicest guys ever in the history of the Minnesota indie pro wrestling business and whatnot. So yeah. Oh, hi, Pete King. How are you? So yeah, I can't wait to hear his story. So let's not waste any more time, and I'm gonna see if I can bring him on. Give me 1 second, you guys. Hope he is ready. So, you know what I should have done? I should have gave him my key that I was locked. So come on, Rock Solid Ross. I'm ready for ya. So hey,
This thing on? Check one, check
yeah,
two. You're
yeah,
listening to Rock Solid. Here with the
hey,
legendary Michael Earl Pam.
hey, how's it
Listeners,
going?
you're more than welcome to put your questions in. What do you want to know about Rock Solid? It's a true tell-all.
hmm So you know what's funny is I've been wanting to interview you for the longest.
The longest? I'm the longest interview you've wanted to have?
Yeah, because I've been interviewing wrestlers left and right, and then the pandemic hit in 2020. So
Whoa, there was a pandemic? Just kidding.
hey, yeah, 2020. It, it was the pandemic hit, and it shut everything down. So, but on a serious note, let's let's how are you doing?
How am I doing? Michael, I'm doing better than ever. Um, I wish I would have a stand for the phone, but other than that, I'm doing rock solid. Um, I have decided to get a new training partner,
hmm
uh, and it's through Kinetic Wellness, and now my gains have been going out of control.
hmm And you know something? Well, I have a phone stance, so that's what changed. That's the change that you see in me. Uh huh. And the last time you were you was on Michael's corner, not kind of. I was interviewing Van Johnson. And you
Oh,
may,
did I interject during that time?
yes, you did.
That doesn't
What
sound like
you're
me.
in the
That
comments?
does not sound like me, Michael.
Yeah, in the comments.
I mean, we could say
Yep,
allegedly. We could just agree to disagree and say allegedly I might have said some things.
allegedly you interrupted Michael's corner with
I
that
mean,
mess with the
some call it interrupting, others call it a surprise cameo. You know, it's just a matter of perception.
hmm Yeah, I read. Yep. So, well, anyways, I brought you on here because I got some questions to ask you. Now, I told you about, So, my question to you is, how did you get your start in wrestling?
You know, Michael, that's a real interesting question, and it dates back to about almost 15 years now. And what's beautiful about that question is I can go full circle. I was working at a group home, right? And I just got done doing collegiate wrestling at the Bison. I threw out my back, and I started working in this group home. But before that, I did a musical called Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. And I played an Elvis Pharaoh, brother. Uh, so, point being, I'm working at this group home, and then I'm starting to hear screaming from this guy's room. I got placed on a random Monday. I never had back then worked on a Monday night. Okay, I think you know where this is leading. And then I go to another room. This other guy's yelling. And it turns out the woman that would normally work that shift, she put the Do-It-Yourself network on at 7, and all of my guys were watching Raw. And I said, okay, Ross, you're 6'1", you're 250 at the time, you got a little bit of a personality, and you got a Division I background. What's stopping you here, bud? And a buddy of mine, Brandon Johnson, told me about Terry Fox Academy, and I was like, what are you talking about? People just, I'm like, you can't be a pro wrestler. He goes, yeah, you can. I'm like, no, that just doesn't happen. And he talked me into doing it, and that's what got me in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
So,
full circle, I am currently back in people supported. So I work in the context of people with either intellectual or physical disabilities, and I make sure that they are cared and provided for.
mhm. so, so let's talk more. So um, you were a what you call an amateur wrestler, right?
Yep.
Can you tell me more? Can you tell me how did you get into amateur wrestling?
It's funny. I was 3 years old. I remember the first time that I saw Hulk Hogan on TV. And from birth, I've had severe ADD, and my parents were like, this kid's a little savage, right? So at 3.5 or 4, my dad brings me into the youth wrestling room. He asked the coach, hey, is my son old enough for this? Right? And he goes, yeah, well, seeing that he's pinning another kid already. Just like, this is something my dad's told me. And so it's just been in my blood. Now, you know what? Let's see if I can figure out how to use the smart thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little bit of my wall here. That's me if I was a pro wrestler, or if I had my own figurine. It's just Rick Rude. But anywho, getting to it. This is the most important accolade in my life. when I was in 7th grade, I started wrestling for the school, right? And I was a pretty big 7th grade. I was probably 120, 140. And I would get my ass kicked every day. And your name is literally what rung you are in the starting lineup. I didn't like my name being on bottom. So my first kind of goal into adulthood was, all right, you're on the bottom. You're not going to stay there for long. Did take 2 years. And for me to make the team, I had to cut from 160 to 130 my freshman year. I did that in a month. That killed me. I learned I sucked. I had no energy. I couldn't go. And I'd always lifted weights, but that was really the catalyst. I think I was 14 and 30, which not okay. I don't like to lose at all. And I went to a private gym known as Doug's, right? And at that point, Doug and I just took the training to the next level. I'm talking, I broke past. I went to Super Saiyan. And that was by doing, in the off season, we would do hills and sprints at least once a week. And then in addition to that, we would bike ride anywhere from 20 to 60 miles at 7 a.m. And then my best summers were doing a 60 miler in 80-degree heat, work out at Doug's, or go home, eat a pizza, go to Doug's, and then hit the lake. There's a reason why I say I'm from the land of loons and pontoons. I am a beach bro. Where was I going? Anyways, so that's really what was my empathy. There's a word that I'm trying to think of that I can't say, and we're live, so good luck trying to use smart words. That was really the start of what would become Rock Solid. I trained so hard that my junior year, I lost only 4 times, and I took second in the state. Do you know what my parents called me, Michael, after taking second?
What did they call you?
First loser.
What?
And they weren't saying it. They weren't saying it in a mean way. My parents love me, and they know who I am, right? They know that by saying that in a joking way each time, it makes me want to go harder. It makes me want to go farther, right?
Right.
So going into my senior year, I had a big target. I was ranked number 1, right? So I trained like I've never had before. It was unreal. There were days where me and the bike, it was just a nice road bike, we would become one, hell-bent on this mission. And I should probably say at this time, my first mentor, Doug Becker, owner of the fitness center, he was a crazy bastard. To quote him, he once told me, he goes, I made Dazed and Confused look like a fucking Disney movie. And he legitimately had the stories to back it up. But he was that motivating X factor who would push me to the absolute limit. To go, which is another one of his phrases, is until there's nothing left. And, you know, I owe him everything I have because of that. So going into my senior year, right, ranked number 1, yada, 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 sections, I only beat this kid from Perham, who I knew was my rival. I only beat him by 2 points, right? And I looked at him and I said, hey, I'll see you in the finals. And sure as shit, I did see him in the finals. Now going into state, I was feeling sick, doggish, and I just chalked it up to nerves. And I ended up wrestling Nathan I'm winning by 1 point, right? They call me on a bullshit clasping call, which is where you both hands touch underneath. You can't do that in amateur wrestling, so they ding me a point. Now we're tied. We end up being tied into overtime. I let him shoot in on me, and I just did what was known as a go behind. So my arm caught his head, threw it to the side, and then I scooted around, and I became a state champ. From there, I was recruited to wrestle for NDSU. They had another guy who they had pegged as to be the next 197 pounder. He was a 4-time state champ from North Dakota, and to put it, I went to war with him every day. Every day I made him my bitch. Every day I pushed that plate. I'd look over, what is he lifting? I'm putting an extra 10 on there. Oh, he's not winning sprints. I'm going to go an extra foot. I'm going to do everything in my power to win. And when it came to wrestle-offs, he didn't come closest. He might have gotten 2 points, and that would have been an escape point that I let him get up. That's how intense I was. Unfortunately, I suffer from mental illness. I didn't know that. Unbecoming. And at the same time, they were grooming me after I took second in the conference my sophomore year. I was good. Like, I have a 75% record, but my head was not right. I should have gone to, I hate saying that phrase, to nationals. Then they were going to groom me to be heavyweight, and I was lifting a lot of weight, doing a lot of cleans, and I threw up my back. And I had questioned myself. I was in a deep-rooted depression anyways. And I just had to walk away, which is one of the hardest things I've ever done. My back was shot. My brain was gone. And the last 15 years of my life have been a personal odyssey to where I am now.
And let's talk about mental illness right quick, because it's a touchy subject. Because, I know a few friends of mine has gone through that. What made you overcome your mental, and what steps did you have to get
Well, one, May is Mental Health Awareness. So anyone out there who's questioning or keeping it all inside, talk to someone, brother. It's not that expensive. Yeah, it's hard to open up, but do it. Make yourself vulnerable. It's the hardest thing that a man can do, is to show kindness, to let that light in, to be able to heal, to be able to grow. In regards to how to overcome it, I haven't. Every day is a battle when you are afflicted with a mental illness, a diagnosis, what have you. But that's no excuse. You still have to learn how to cope. Meds don't magically make the difference. You have to. Something that I relate to anyone that's kind of an ADD caliber, not to say that all illnesses are the same, but if you kind of relate to me and you're listening to me, I view my mental illness as a race car, right? Most people, they're basic, boring Toyota Corollas. Nothing wrong with that. It's reliable, it's simple. It's not going to give you many problems, but you're not turning any heads, and you're not doing what other cars can. I think of myself as a Ferrari or a race car, right? And with that comes obstacles. One, you need to learn how to drive. That's where those coping skills come into place. That positive self-talk, that kind of mindfulness, that awareness to know where you're at, how others are perceiving you, or how this might just all be in your head. But there's a million different coping skills, but you have to use the skills to your advantage. The second one, so that's the learning to drive part. Second one is you don't put pump gas in a race car, right?
Mhm.
Or blow the engine. So what you
Mhm.
need is that high octane, right? What works for your engine? Your engine's the brain, right?
Mhm.
And even with the right fuel, the right driver, that car's going to need a lot of work. And that's that constant maintenance. It's that therapy that goes into place, right? So it's
Yeah.
not a matter of saying, oh, I fixed my car, I'll never have to fix it again. It's just keeping it properly tuned. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, I would like to reiterate, if anyone's struggling, look up a crisis line. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but yeah, this life isn't easy, but there's ways to soften the blow of reality.
Mhm. Thank you for sharing that because you know, there is people who are struggling and whatnot, and it's like this needs to be talked more, and you know, like I said, 2018 was probably the worst years of my life. You know, I lost my mom in January of 2018. Then in July of that same year, I lost my sister.
Oof, that's a tough go.
And then June of 2017, my my first nephew, got shot and killed. It was all over the news.
Wow. So you've been
So
going through it. Is there any, what did you,
I've been.
so my question to you is, what steps did you take?
This is what I did after going through all the trauma and all these
Processing, yeah.
happenings. You know what I did? I grieved. I grieved and I prayed. You
Sure.
know, meditation is key. I did. I meditate myself, and it really worked for me. It may work for some people, but for me, it worked for me. I take a deep breath. I close my eyes. I listen to some music, but without no words, I just listen to music, meditate, and then all of a sudden, everything, you know, I got back into, now, of course, I do got a huge support system. So, therefore, I went to, rest in peace, Damon Knight. He was there for me after my mom had passed. I went to a wrestling show, saw Damon Knight. I told him about my mother's passing, and he gave me the most genuine hug that I ever felt. He was there through thick and thin. I also talked with Carol Castle.
Sure.
She was the first person who I texted to when my mother had passed away. That's the first person who I texted because she's one of my good friends. She supports me throughout everything that I do and whatnot. Um, so yep. So she was
Yeah, I
also.
mean, yeah. It's not easy dealing with mental illnesses or anything. Why not to belittle it, but what's the next question?
What's the next
Yeah,
question?
yeah, yeah. What do you got?
Okay. Okay. So the next question that I have for you is, so then, how did you get into pro wrestling? Now we talked about your amateur wrestling already, but how did you get your start in pro wrestling?
Yeah, I was in Terry Fox's academy with the legendary Scott Story. He's a pretty scary fella, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Comes out with those masks.
Yeah.
And then JD Bandit. No one knows what he looks like because he paints his face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's a mystery. But those are the people that we broke through. Terry Fox with the Chanhassen with MIW.
Okay. Yep, I love Terry Fox. He puts on great shows, and that's the reason why it still continues on today. You know, because he puts on great shows.
Yes. Yeah, he is a good at booking what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, consistently good shows. It just sucks that you could have a bigger venue, you know, to
Yeah,
showcase it more.
yeah, yeah, I know. So, so you had some pretty good matches in your career.
I
Can you
think
tell?
so.
Can you tell me which match um which which one was your best match? Because I know there's some good ones. Who do you like wrestling?
My best match hasn't happened yet.
All right.
I'm a firm believer that you're always trying to improve and get better.
Mm-hmm.
So my best so far, you know, there's certain things, certain times, and certain workers, but honestly, Stonehenge, man, me and him, we just click. It's like an Andre Hogan thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's fun every time. I did train him at Terry Fox, but like we put down some good. We've done it consistently every time I've worked him. It's always turned out really well. In fact, one time it was a one-on-one, and I gave him a superplex to finish the match, and
Mm-hmm.
we broke the ring. Like that wasn't planned. It was at a Puff show. I think it was the first one, and I didn't know anything. You know, it was just boom. Apparently, some boards fell out of place or knocked something out of place, and it took them 15 minutes to get it back. But I thought that was kind of funny because you know you had about 500 pounds crashing into the center of the mat or the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Arya Davari definitely sticks out. Pete huge. Rest in peace, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's been a lot of fun ones. Um, for
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to name the organization, but we did do one at a nudist colony once.
Oh,
That the show standed out, not necessarily the match, but I won't go into details on that. I signed an affidavit.
mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
not kidding. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, man. I've just been privileged, and I've had very little injury. You know, my 30s, other than just slowing down a bit. But the most things that affects Rock Solid Ross's career is his shoot jobs, and sometimes that takes full control. In order for me to be successful, I got to go 100%, and it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to do that balancing act, especially if your
Mm-hmm.
employers don't understand pro wrestling. My current
Yeah.
ones love it and appreciate it, but mental health, that can be sometimes frowned upon. You're going out there,
Mm-hmm.
you're wearing a shirtless, spandex, but you know, it is what it is. I
Mm-hmm.
am me. I'm not gonna stop being me.
Yeah.
I'm
So
only gonna be a better version of me.
let's talk about you recently, not recently, but in the past, you went to some pro wrestling entertainment that was run by, I forgot who it was run by. I believe was Dirty Ernie.
I
It was
went. I wasn't performing.
you you were, yeah, you was perform at
Oh, okay.
pro wrestling entertainment, and
The
it was
acronym, like it all blends after a while, and I gotta look it up.
yeah,
But if you say Dirty Ernie and his crew, then I definitely know. That sounds like a sex like act, Dirty Ernie and his crew. But
yeah, yeah, okay. Well, I got a pretty good memory book. You were there at one. You were there at one point in time in your career. It was
allegedly,
allegedly okay. It was I think it was Isante County, Santa Minnesota. It was at a bowling
yeah,
alley.
I know. I know this. I love this This venue actually really rocked. No pun intended. Some say it
Yeah,
rocked and it rolled.
yeah. How did you feel about working with that wrestling promotion? If you can remember.
You know, like everyone there treated me good, and I didn't get hurt. And the people, I think I worked probably 3 or 4 shows there. Every time, you know, treated me well, paid me well, and you know, things went smoothly. So I don't, I guess, no heat or animosity, slight
Mhm,
admiration, because you know, anytime I don't have to walk on eggshells and I can just relax and be me.
mhm.
That's a good time.
Now, now, I don't want to get into too much of this, but
What is the weeds?
you talking, you we talked about this,
Talking
on
about Neo,
Viva
Magneto.
allegedly Viva
He's talking heat about
message.
me.
No, no, you was talking about a little character change. You feel like you was being pulled back and whatnot, and you wanna come out of your comfort zone and stuff like that.
Are you talking about a different Rock Solid? Are you talking about an unchained, unadulterated man who can cut someone down
Mhm,
just with my tongue, let alone these fists, to go where it needs to go, to
mhm,
push the pace? Is that what you're talking about? You're talking about me going 180 degrees? Go 180 degrees. That's called a turn, son. If I did that
mhm.
though, if I let off my true aggression, I didn't hold back at all.
Oh my
What
God,
meat? What
there.
meat is on the bone for others?
Mhm,
I mean, what? If I can cheat now, how is that fair for someone
mhm,
else? I trained my ass off, and the 180-pound gamer, how is he going to be believable to kick my ass
mhm,
if I go heel?
mhm,
Not everyone
mhm,
looks and dances like Rey Mysterio.
mhm.
And it's,
I can,
I
I
think that the hard part is because I'd go 80s heel, or probably 70s heel. I'd probably
mhm.
just go let it out. I'd probably be a half Brock Lesnar, half Warrior, if I'm being real.
Yeah, because you know what? I
But
can feel.
it's a matter of getting a promoter back behind that. And that might be a
Yeah,
little too fourth wall, brother. But
yeah. Well, what? I would love to see a different Rock Solid Rods because you've been a baby face all this time, and it's time for you to come out of that comfort zone
Well,
and say,
spread that word. Put that fire.
you gotta put that fire in, man. You gotta tell these people who the fuck you are.
Oh, you okay? So do you want me to? Because I've put some thought into this, Michael, and once I pull the trigger, I'm going to pull the trigger, and there's no going back. But my shirts, you know what they're going to say for it? It's going to say, "I come for rock solid." And it's going to be a little Tixit sub, and I'm only going to hand it out to female fans.
Oh my God!
Oh, you just got it now, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
That's heat. Mm-hmm. That's some fun heat.
Yeah. Yep. You know, it's all good fun. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. And I just I wish I was there.
But I have a shooter's mentality. So sometimes I have to tell myself it's all for funsies. But it's not. It's not. I want to be the best. And I don't want to settle for second. And whether that's in an objective or subjective form, anything less than your best is a sacrifice to the gift.
Yep. And that's important too, you know. Sometimes, like my sister always told me in the past, sometimes, Michael, you gotta take some sacrifices. So anyhow, now my next question to you is, if it were up to you, which wrestler do you want to face next, if given the opportunity? You better say Van Johnson. You better say Van Johnson.
Like, that question's so loaded, Michael. Because if I told you my real idea, like, I would get so much heat if I went to, let's just say this guy's against authority, and he's chubby, short, and I think Irish. I'm not going to name who it is. It might have a liquid corporate sponsorship, but I would just bully him online until he wrestles me. Just give me what I want. Go Batista style. You can't beat me. You never ran a mile. You have to wrestle with a shirt on. You've never trained a day in your life. You're too chicken shit to face me. But
yeah,
that's just a fictitious character. That's no one in particular, obviously. Van
Johnson.
Who would I
know you're
really
going to say Van Johnson.
You know what? I could go. I'd like to put a chapter in the storybook. And if that's not a move called the storybook, like I just gave him a signature, if not a finisher name. Yeah, I'd probably go Scott Story. Just as there's a little rust on me, and I know that I'm comfortable with flowing with Story, and it can be a hell of a match no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah, I will actually love to see you face Scott Story.
Or a bra and panties match with Alexa Bliss.
Oh my God! What the? Why the hell did you gotta bring that up? I thought
a man can dream, Michael. A man can dream.
I thought the bra and panties era was done. Shoot.
I mean, he'll come back. I have faith that we can become more misogynistic again, and less exclusive. You know, inclusivity is what really. I'm joking.
Okay.
Yeah. What's next? What's the next question you got to fire at me?
All right. So, when you're not wrestling, what does Rock Solid Ross likes to do when he's not wrestling?
Make content for my OnlyFans. No, that's for once I retire from wrestling. Then I'll make my money from that. I like, obviously, if you follow me by any stretch of the imagination, I'm a meathead. I love the gym. I love going and just going till there's nothing left. I like to cook. I like to clean. I'm liking to like to clean. I am painting currently, and it feels good. Just flexing my creativity.
All right. Well, for me, and I said this a lot in my in the episodes of Michael's Corner. When I'm not going to wrestling shows and whatnot, I like to I like to play video games.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
like Zelda?
No, we're talking WWE.
Dr. Mario?
No. I used to play that when I was
Primoid?
little.
Metroid?
No. WWE 2K23 video game.
Do you think they're gonna make a 2024?
Huh?
Do you think that they're gonna make another one?
Yeah, of course.
But didn't they get bought out though?
They actually resigned.
Oh,
Resigned.
Do you think maybe that it'll just be easier for the video gamers that if you combine UFC with WWE, so you have all the characters in one game?
Wow.
You think that'd be easier?
Wow. That's.
But would they fight in an octagon only, or could they fight in a ring?
Well, that's up to them. That's up to them to decide. Yeah. That's
Many possibilities. Many possibilities.
There's possibilities, but yeah. But
they're
like
not finite; they're infinite.
Yeah, and
just like my
I
dream.
also play NBA 2K video game.
NBA?
Yeah, NBA.
Is that the National Bowling Association?
That is the National Basketball Association.
Oh, because I thought it was like a bowling game.
No. I used to bowl a long time ago, but I'm glad that you brought bowling because that's my goal. I want to get back into bowling.
Just go.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it.
I'm a little rusty.
Well, yeah, but the only way to knock off the rust is to rack them out. You gotta roll that ball.
Rack them out.
Roll the rock.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they say in bowling?
Yeah.
Is that a phrase?
I don't know.
Do people shout that from the stadium or like the audience?
I don't watch too many bowling games for all of that. But
you don't watch are you telling me? You're telling me you don't watch the female collegiate championship of bowling on ESPN6?
That's what I'm telling you. I don't.
I mean, you should look into it. Like Linda Dorn, she's good. I think her top 3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's from Oklahoma, so they can bowl all year round. But I think she has a chance.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will certainly look into that and whatnot. Yeah, I'll look into that. Yeah. So, okay. Well, that's about all the questions I have for you.
When's your next match, Rock Solid Ross?
Yes, I was going to get to that. So when's your next wrestling match?
I will be premiering this Saturday in Glendive, Montana, part of Below Zero, Battle of the West.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to win. I don't think it's a battle, but I'm wrestling. And I'm going to win. It's a triangular three-way dance of death. And I will become the victor.
One second.
You don't even know my new finisher. I'm going to release it to the world. Do you think the world could handle it? And you got to tell me if you've ever heard of this move before. Okay, I'm calling this move bedrock, right? So instead of a superplex, right, where you just fall back, imagine a superplex that's a jackhammer. So I invert myself, land on top, 1, 2, 3. You ever heard of that before?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, that's because it's called bedrock. Once you get bedrock, you're done. Time to go to sleep. You're gonna be counting the 1, 2, 3 Z's.
Okay. All right. Well, where can
and then anyone can follow me on this app or on Insta. You know. Anything else?
No, that's about it.
Well, it's been a true pleasure and honor, Michael. I have avoided you for too long, and now I can't wait to make another round.
Yeah.
All right. Stay
All
safe.
right, you take care. Peace. All right. So that was a great interview, you guys. Like I said, Rock Solid Ross, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in wrestling and whatnot. You guys can follow me on social media. At Facebook is Michael's Corner. Twitter is at Michael Pam. And YouTube is Michael's Wrestling Channel. Okay, well, I'm about to get off this live stream and whatnot. You guys take care and have a great evening, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.